Ladies and gentlemen, this has to be one of the most hyped characters I've seen the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes community go over. Talk about a team that went from pure garbanzo beans to absolutely amazing with the flip of a switch overnight. Wow! Thanks to the new addition of Captain Rex in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the Phoenix Squadron literally went from a team you keep at bare minimum to unlock Thrawn, you forget about it, move on to a team that everyone's going to want to strive for. Because this very well might be the brand new best free-to-play non-legendary team in the game. If you don't believe me, all I did was I took up Captain Rex, put his Zetas on, threw him on a Phoenix team that had no Zetas and mods that I last touched in 2017 probably, and right from the very get-go, we're able to full auto Commander Luke Skywalker with pretty much no problem. That's just something you don't typically see, and it only got better from there. Things like Zori Bliss, what was previously I believe to be the best non-legendary team, got trampled by Captain Rex in the Phoenix. General Grievous, Admiral Radis, Dashrandar, heck, even Reva, one of the scariest teams in the game for Galactic Legends, was dunked on by this team for maximum banners, and that's before the Omicron, guys. So let's explain why this character is so nutty. And we only had the time, thanks to CG's brilliant design of Squad Arena, to really only test out the Phoenix. But look at those other fantastic tags. Clone Trooper, Rebel, and Rebel Fighter. There's a very good chance it's going to work well with some clone lineups, maybe even Bad Batch. Rebel Fighters, maybe Saw Gerrera, Mon Mothma. But it's definitely evident the best bang per buck is going to be with the Phoenix Squadron. Creating a brand new God tier free-to-play team is something you don't want to ignore. I know it's been a while since we busted out the Harrison Dula kit and the Phoenix Squadron, but with the Rise Together kit, she is able to let each Phoenix ally grant their unique ability to other Phoenix allies. So it might be time to just brush up a little bit and check the unique abilities on all the Phoenix Squadron. The unique ability on Captain Rex's Lost Commander is absolutely absurd. Remember, everything you're reading here is going to be sharing with the other Phoenix members. Extra critical chance, 40% max health, an extra 25 speed, 40% tenacity, and whenever any other Phoenix ally uses this special ability, all the Phoenix allies are assisting. Moving further down, whenever a clone trooper or Phoenix ally is inflicted with a debuff, Rex gains 5% surrender per debuff, and all allies recover 5% health protection. And again, this applies to all the Phoenix members. And that's even before the Grand Arena Omicron, which gives an extra 30% critical damage, an additional 60% max health, and another 25 speed. So with the Omicron, you have yourself 100% max health on the Phoenix Squadron and an extra 50 speed per character. Probably more importantly, because of the high speed him and others are going to be sharing from, he has suppressing fire, which is very reminiscent of a Dashrandar type of thing, or maybe even Bad Batch Echo. We're back into the speed race, y'all. He's going to inflict tenacity down, which can't be evaded, daze everyone, inflict offense down, and then he's going to feed 5% surrender for each debuff inflicted to Clone Trooper and Phoenix allies. So he can possibly feed 75% surrender to the Phoenix right from the very get-go. And this is not going to be hard. With his unique ability granting 25 speed before Omicron and 50 speed with Omicron, he's got a very solid base speed of 173. Basically, making him the fastest non-legendary character in the game, in a sense, with the base speed of 223. So once you start putting mods on him, it won't be hard to make him fast, and it's going to be hard to outrun this guy. So basically, there's a lot of other nooks and crannies we can go into, but overall, this team has speed, one of the most important mechanics in a turn-based game. More speed means more turns. They have turn removal on the enemy team. They have constant assist, cooldown reductions, incredible amounts of max health. They have cleansing capabilities on the whole entire team on basic abilities with assist. It comes to a point, what doesn't this team have? And at least right now, before Omicron, the one big thing you can notice, and it's not a big deal, is that there's not a lot of like big burst damage. This team is very much a death by 1,000 cuts team, but the 1,000 cuts is more like 1,000,000 cuts because it comes fast, swiftly, and the enemy can't do anything about it except just sit there and take it. So as we mentioned in the intro, the first thing that we just walked into, no changes, no remodding, garbage mods from who knows when, no Zetas on the other Phoenix members, went in, Commander Luke Skywalker, boom, no problem, even on the point where we could just full auto it. What the heck is this team, man? That's when we knew we were in a good time. The next impressive team that we were able to go head-to-head with, and this is kind of a big deal, Zori Bliss. Up until now, there's not a lot of great non-legendary ways of handling Zori Bliss. You got Tuskens that can maybe do it. Rose might complicate things a little bit, but usually Tuskens can handle it. Other than that, you're kind of looking at a situation where you got to throw in some sort of mini legendary Galactic Legend type of thing. This is pretty much the first non-legendary team that just makes it absolutely easy. Thanks to the high amount of speed that Captain Rex has to offer, he's able to open up apply the daze, give tons of speed to the team, and of course turn meter on top of that from that opening suppressing fire, able to land that big burst at the very beginning and set up the field in your favor. And this is going to be one of those battles where you definitely need Zeb. Sometimes you don't need Zeb, sometimes you do, but Zeb constantly coming into the assist, hitting someone with the daze, locks him in the stun, preventing the bonus turn that Zori's trying to give to the other folks. And likely that was the battle that showed we have a new best free-to-play team on the market now. But even if that doesn't impress you, it went to the point where we were able to go toe-to-toe with Reva. Again, she's the Galactic Legend killer, beats pretty much every Galactic Legend in the game, and even Galactic Legends struggle to beat her on defense. Really, the only non-GL way of handling her is kind of like a Treya situation. A team that people always associated with trash, just with one character, was able to shut down Reva and basically run circles around them. And one thing that helps out a ton, after Grand Inquisitor takes his bonus turn because of 6 stacks of Purge, Captain Rex and the Phoenix start to go because all those purges that are inflicted, it grants 5% turn meter per debuff. So he's getting basically 30% turn meter per debuff from the Purge. Multiply that by 5 characters, that's a lot of turn meter that he's getting to start off his movement with suppressing fire, and then with the combination of all the stuff we talked about, the cooldown reductions, constant assisting, Sabine Wren, landing armor shreds, landing the stagger to pull back the turn meter, hit it on full auto, you're leaving with a massive win. That's nuts. And I might get the question, even myself, I'm wondering, will the Omicron on Reva make a difference? Probably not. The death mark is scary, but if the enemy's not taking any turns, the death mark's doing a whole lot of nothing. And this has raised some flags in the community. Is there going to be a nerf? I hope not. I can't guarantee anything. They were very sensitive when Trey was beating Reva. It seems weird that they're just going to let the Phoenix Squadron, out of all teams in the game, although it is kind of a little lore accurate, I suppose, absolutely dunk on the Inquisitors. And of course, we ran through some other teams as well. We went up against the other things that we were able to be were Admiral Radis, for example, General Grievous, no problem, Dash Rendar. Ness was the only complication, and we even got through Ness thanks to all the dazes. And of course, there's other things on the kit we didn't really talk about. Master Marksman has a stun on him, so he's able to stun Enfys Ness, Tenacity down, make sure we get the stun. And then of course, the aim then shoot, we have the basic, which cleanses the team. Pretty much this seems to beat most non-Galactic Legend type of teams in the game. However, there is some balancing factors. This team is not completely unchecked. Even Zori had her counters. For example, Tuskens were the hardest counter I think I saw out of everything besides Galactic Legends that could shut down Captain Rex. Thanks to all the turn meter on the Captain Rex team, it's basically impossible to beat Tuskens with their unresistible stuns and damage over times. No chance. So there you go. That's one possible counter, but that's also counter used for Zori. So if you're using it for Captain Rex, what are you using for Zori? It puts you in a catch-22 situation. Seer Junda also seemed to be a struggle, and remember, you can't apply daze on Seer Junda inside of Grand Arena when she has an Omicron, so Captain Rex seems like he'll struggle up against Seer Junda, a very durable team, anti-daze with ramping mechanism, so you might get a lot of turns, but you're only helping out Seer Junda and ramping up her team. And then when we look more in the legendary space, we didn't really try too many Galactic Legends. Some folks think that we might have a Galactic Legend opportunity with Captain Rex. I'm not 100% sure, but it was kind of evident that General Anakin Skywalker is going to be a little tricky. Maybe the Omicron will make it a little bit easier, but with all the buffs that the Phoenix get, gas just ramps up, and he has anti-revives, makes it a little bit of a complication. And I don't think there's going to be a great opportunity to take out Sith Empire stuff. Darth Malak is a really big annoyance. Too many critical hits, you're getting too much fear, you're stuck, and then Darth Malak, that's a whole other ball game. So just from initial impressions, with the time I had him on the Phoenix team, on my ranking chart that I normally make, this is very well a great competitive option to put in the best guard tier, the second highest tier in the game. And it's crazy because this is the team that normally sits in Carbonite. It's not a great team once you get Thrawn. You just kind of stop. And this is great because a lot of the Phoenix members are pilots. You're going to bump them up to help your profundity lineup. And I want to talk for a moment the Zetas that I would recommend on the Phoenix Squadron. I know most folks don't have Zetas on them. I didn't have Zetas. So truthfully, this is a one Zeta thing to just completely revamp your Phoenix Squadron. All I really needed was the Lost Commander Zeta, and the Phoenix were completely transformed. I didn't have any other Zetas than anyone else. I walked in, boom, instant win against Commander Luke Skywalker. So the must-have Zeta, and you don't even need the Omicron technically, is Lost Commander. No arguing, that's the one to need. After that, I would say that these other ones for Zetas are more good recommendations. You don't need it. Zeta number 2 that I would recommend is Harrison Dula's Play to Strength. She dispels debuffs on the target Phoenix ally, reduces their cooldowns by 1, essentially making Captain Rex sort of like a 2-turn cooldown on a suppressing fire. And then she grants a massive boost of 50% turn meter. The next Zeta that I would put on the highly recommend, not necessary, but highly recommended, would be Sabine Wren's Demolish. I found if you're able to line up the speed, since she's only 2 speeds slower than Captain Rex, and they're getting like 50 extra speed through the unique ability of Captain Rex, it's not too hard to have Sabine Wren outrun a lot of teams, have her go early, follow up with the suppressing fire, hitting all the stagger that Demolish could apply, and that really sets up the enemy for a really bad opening play. On that Zeta with Demolish, the main thing I'm recommending here is that she applies stagger on all enemies, not just the target enemy. And that's kind of a nice situation to have. Again, you don't need it. It's definitely nice to have. You're going to notice a big improvement in the Phoenix's performance. And if there's a third Zeta that I would put in the it's maybe not highly recommended, but it's still a decent Zeta, Kanan Jarrus. Now, I'm going to say you could definitely argue you don't need this. Total defense, I applied the Zeta yesterday. It's the mass debuff cleanse on the team. So being able to cleanse all debuffs on the team is kind of a big deal. And of course, when Force it expires, Kanan gains 100% turn meter. Other Phoenix allies gain 50% turn meter. The issue that I have here is that it doesn't really feel like I need a cleanse, especially in Grand Arena. When you have an Omicron, you can't get dazed, you can't get ability block. I felt like the cleanse wasn't really needed because I was taking all the turns and the enemy wasn't. I'm sure there's gonna be times where the cleanse is nice. I didn't really think it's super necessary, so I'd probably put this as maybe a third tier Zeta. If you got some Zetas left over, it's a nice cherry on top. Captain Rex also has a second Zeta on Master Marksman. I found myself not really using it thanks to all the cooldown reductions. I wasn't using Master Marksman much. I was most of the time using suppressing fire. Not that it's a bad Zeta, it's kind of like Grief Karga, where his swarm ability Zeta is nice. You don't need it for it to operate. The ideal team composition, I think at the minimum, you need Harrison Dula, Captain Rex, and likely Chopper as your core 3. Chopper has the constant cooldown reductions. Hera's the lead, you gotta have it. Captain Rex is the whole purpose of this team now. The other options I think are going to be mostly Kanan Jarrus, Sabine Wren, Garazeb. I actually don't think Ezra Bridgers, he's all right, but I think he's better off maybe throwing in a Jedi team somewhere. I much found myself enjoying the presence of Sabine Wren with her armor shreds, her basic abilities constantly hitting hard, the stagger, of course, we talked about. Zeb has the stuns on the basic, the daze on the basic, and his unique ability gives a ton of extra max protection equal to his max health. And again, when that shares of everyone and there's 100% max health increase, your team is hella durable with Captain Rex. And then Kanan Jarrus has that cleanse, and his unique ability allows the team to counterattack, but I found myself not really needing to counterattack that much. So you're gonna have to feel the situation, and it's gonna vary. Like, for example, when you go up against Zori and Reva, you probably want to have Sabine. But I think the best thing about it is you have flexibility, and even if you don't agree with my particular recommendations on what the last two should be, you're gonna do pretty fine otherwise. And if it's not apparent at this point, I highly recommend the Omicron. Technically, it's great without the Omicron. The Omicron's gonna make this team even nuttier, kind of like the Zori Omicron. Not needed, but heavily nutty. Extra critical damage, max health, another 25 speed, makes this Phoenix immune to ability block and daze inside of 5v5 Grand Arena, has this damage over time unresistible effect, kind of like Tuscan's when there's ability block and daze being applied. And whenever he's using a basic ability, he recovers 10% health and protection. And remember, this shares with the rest of the team. It's not just for him. I have not had the opportunity to really try out the Clone Trooper side of things with testing, but in 3v3, he's going to give bonuses to Clone Troopers to get lots of armor shreds, cleanse capabilities, buff dispel capabilities. And I think we're just going to have to wait for another day to really try him out with other teams, see what he's like with the Bad Batch, maybe the 501st, heck, maybe even Gas. Mon Mothma, Saw Gerrera. This is one of the most flexible new characters, especially in the non-legendary space, that come to Galaxies. Normally when a new character comes, they serve one specific purpose, and they usually do a good job. This is going to be one of those characters that everyone's going to want to have, one point or another. And I'm looking forward to the other testing and the surprise that we're going to find of Captain Rex down the road. At the end of the day, my initial impressions of this character is an absolute home run, 5 out of 5. This is going to be one of the best teams in the game for a while. You have to build up Phoenix one way or another. I love this character too because I've never seen the community in a long time be so excited for a character to come and see the character perform so dang good. And the craziest thing is, we're only scratching the surface. I want to thank you guys for coming out to the live stream yesterday. It was an absolute blast. You guys are always an absolute pleasure and privilege to hang out with. Let me know your thoughts down below on Captain Rex. Are you putting this somewhere on your farming plans? All I would recommend, if you can, don't let this character passive and sit in your roster untouched for a long time. Even at 3 stars, it's getting that unique ability going is going to give you a functional team to use inside of Grand Arena with those Phoenix members that I know a lot of you guys have sitting around. So it's time to dust them off, and it's time to get to work. Leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And always remember how it's great to be in the Empire today.
The sun never sets.